flick freaks out there, what is going on? My name is Andrew, and we are here with another film review. It's finally here, ladies and gentlemen. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Just got back from the theater, had time to go over it in my head a little bit, what I thought about it. This is going to be, until the end, a spoiler-free review, and then at the very end, I'll let you guys know whenever it's going to get into spoilers, but from here until I say it's going to be spoiler-free. If you're curious about whose team I was on going into this, I think this should give you a pretty good idea. So I think the first thing we should start off with is the tone of this movie. As a lot of you have guessed, based simply from the fact that this is Zack Snyder coming straight off of Man vs. Steel into this one, this is going to be a very dark and grim movie. More so for the fact that Batman is in this movie. And I'll tell you this, whenever Batman is on screen, this movie gets dark. I mean, I don't think we've seen this brutal and savage of a Batman on film ever. I think the closest you could get would be if you read, obviously, Zack Snyder took a lot of homages from The Dark Knight Returns, the graphic novel, and that definitely comes across in this. Some things about Batman I'm going to get into in spoilers, about what I think about certain aspects of it, but for the most part, loved Batman. He was so good in this movie. So I think going on to that, let's just get right into the performances, because I think that's really what everybody's really curious about. I loved everybody's performance in this movie except Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I appreciate the fact that they were trying to do something different and to steer away from the same copy-paste Lex Luthor that we've seen in every other form, but it just didn't work. He was weird, he was jittery, he would just shout randomly for no reason, and it wasn't like terrifying or creepy. I get what they were trying to go for. Didn't work, did not come across good at all for me. But the big question everybody wants to know is, how was Ben Affleck as Batman? And I can tell you right now, it is possible he may go down as the best live on-screen Batman we've ever had. He was goddamn good. More so for the fact that he was amazing as Batman and outstanding as Bruce Wayne. Because, you could look at Michael Keaton, who was an astounding Bruce Wayne, not so good of a Batman. And then you can look at Christian Bale, who was a great Batman, but a very, very dry, boring Bruce Wayne. I think that Ben Affleck has found the perfect merger between the two to where he can be a very captivating Batman, but at the same time he can be this very fun and charismatic Bruce Wayne. The one that, makes you really think, oh yeah, you can see that this man's tormented, but unless you're looking for it, you won't notice it because he just hides it so well in this charisma and this confidence and just the way he carries himself. But you definitely know that this is not your average Batman. He is definitely more savage and brutal than any Batman that's ever been on screen. So yeah, he is the best part of the movie until you get to Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She fucking killed that role. I don't think that, what everybody's going to say, but how was she compared? No, she was the epitome of what Wonder Woman should be. I think she nailed that role. Whenever she gets on screen for the big fight, which is coming, obviously, she was the best part of that fight. Watching Wonder Woman just go fucking balls to the wall, not holding anything back, and just that confident, she would have this confident smile on her face like, I'm about to fuck you up. That kind of look in her eye, and just that, and that it's going to get good. And she definitely delivered. I cannot wait to see this new Wonder Woman movie coming out. Next year, I think, is when that movie comes out. I'm not for sure, but I cannot wait, because if this is the kind of talent and just charisma that she's going to bring to this character as Diana Prince, but then I am so looking forward to this character. I think she's going to do phenomenal, because she definitely proved it in this one. Okay, now let's move on to what everybody wants to know. The big fight. Batman v Superman. They named this movie after this fight. Is it a good fight? The answer, no, it was a fight. Nothing like, if you go into this expecting something like Hulkbuster versus Hulk, where it's these two titans going at each other, and just you see stuff like they're doing stuff that you would never imagine, like they're pulling amazing stunts, or they're, just total annihilation of their surroundings and stuff. Not really. It was just a fight. It was a B+ fight. And yeah, I'm going to blame a lot of that on, I think, the biggest problem with this movie, and that's Zack Snyder. I don't think this man he says he's a comic book guy, and that he takes a lot of, his references and the stuff that he puts into his movies. He says it comes from his love of comic books. But at the same time, he makes choices that he automatically says, oh, I have to defend it because of this. If you have to automatically just come out and say, I'm going to do this, but here's why. If you have to defend your reasons right at the forefront, you probably shouldn't have made those decisions, because you're obviously going to get a lot of flack. The man loves slow-mo. I say half of this movie is in slow motion. That's obviously a huge exaggeration, but whenever you watch this movie, it's very apparent that he just loves slow-mo shots, and honestly, he is, from my personal opinion, not a good director. This movie is terribly directed. The cut paste, like the pacing of this movie is atrocious. It's bad. This is a very poorly put together film. If it wasn't for the fact that you had such amazing performances besides Jesse Eisenberg, who is just not his fault, just miscast. I should have clarified that earlier. Jesse Eisenberg, you were miscast. You did the best you could with what they gave you, but you just weren't right for that role. If it wasn't for the fact that there were so many cool, characters on screen, and that's obviously, it's Bob Kane, he gave his amazing character like Batman, and yeah, Zack Snyder, as bad as he is, he can't really screw up Batman too much. So if it wasn't for the fact, if Zack Snyder did a movie that had nothing to do with comic books or any like adaptation of anything, it would be a god-awful movie, because I don't think the man is that talented when it comes to directing. And yeah, for that reason, this movie is just okay, in my opinion. Now, there's a lot in this movie that's not just about Batman v Superman. You have to move on to the second part of that title, Dawn of Justice, moving forward with the Justice League. Does this movie set up enough to where you're excited about the Justice League? For me, the movie doesn't. I was excited for the Justice League before this movie because I'm a huge DC fan. I shouldn't say I'm a huge DC fan, because then all the people who are fans of channels like J-Roar, who that guy is just otherworldly smart about DC. I can say I'm a fan of DC. I love DC. I love reading DC comics. But as far as, processing and keeping all that information of like characters and like miniature characters on the side, I'm not as good as that guy. I just love DC. I should say that. But moving forward, this movie did a little, it hinted, yes, we are going to be moving forward with the Justice League. Here's a little taste of what you might be expecting. And when I say taste, I mean the most minute of taste. So if you're expecting the Dawn of Justice to be the predominant or to have a very hearty part of this film, it's not. It is a micro appetizer to let you know moving forward. But that doesn't mean that I am not excited moving forward. Yes, I know Zack Snyder is right now in charge of, getting the Justice League off the ground and moving forward. I don't know why anybody would, if anybody from DC or Warner Brothers did Warner Brothers have anything to do with this? Anyway, DC, if anybody is watching this review, if you want to save the future of Justice League and make good movies that everybody is excited to go and see, fire Zack Snyder. He will not make these movies as amazing as they deserve to be, because Batman v Superman deserves to be an astoundingly magnificent film, and this was not an astoundingly magnificent film. So that's going to wrap it up for the spoilers. I will say that this movie gets a 7.3 out of 10 for me. So definitely could have been so much better. Now, keep in mind, I should have said this earlier as well. There's a difference between a very well critically acclaimed masterpiece of a film and a fun, entertaining film. And this was definitely fun and entertaining. I loved watching Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman on screen every single time they were. I would get excited, just that adrenaline rush of turning into that young kid who read Batman whenever he was a little kid, and now I see one of my favorite characters of all time on screen again. Yeah, that part was amazing. The pacing, the way this movie was cut and just sloppily put together, terrible editing. That is where this movie definitely falls short. So the fanboy in me thought the movie was hella fun. The critic in me thought there were a shitload of problems with this movie. It's so unfortunate. So, like I said, moving forward from this point forward is going to be spoilers. Okay, here we are, moving forward with spoilers. So, if you are still watching and you don't want anything spoiled, please stop watching the video, because everything from here until the end of the video is going to be spoilers. Having said that, let's move forward. One of my big critiques in this movie, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but I hate the fact Batman kills people. He kills a lot of people in this movie. And I know Zack Snyder made the remark that he doesn't murder people, he kills people by proxy. So if a person's in an SUV and they're shooting at him with guns from the SUV, he'll blow up the SUV. It's not his fault that they were in the SUV. That's pretty much the basic quote that Zack Snyder said. He's like, if Batman incapacitates a guy who has a grenade in his hand and the grenade goes off, then yeah, it's not his fault that, the guy decided to pull the pin in the grenade. Just stupid shit like that. For me, I love when Batman does not kill people, because he made the reference that he's pulling this character from The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman was an older grizzled Batman who would kill people, and I don't like that, because that is when Batman is really old, because that's after the Justice League is gone. That's whenever The Dark Knight Returns takes place, whenever Batman is really old and he has just had it and he's finally snapped and he's going to start killing people. This Bruce Wayne, this Batman is still young. He makes references like, I'm getting slow in my old age, Alfred and stuff like that. He's still pretty damn young. Yeah, he has a little bit of gray in his temple, but not to the point where it's Dark Knight Returns really old Batman. So the fact that he's already killing people really upsets me. And the fact that, yes, he does use guns in this movie. I also prefer my Batman when he doesn't use guns. Yes, I know there were points very early on when Batman first started out, he did kill people and he did use guns, but I loved later on whenever they were really getting to, create this character and his personality, and they said, for the simple fact that his parents were killed by guns, so he doesn't use guns anymore, or that he will never be an executioner anymore, and that's why he won't kill the Joker and stuff like that. Well, you have in this movie a Batman who kills dozens and dozens of people. So my question is, if he's okay with killing all of these minions, then why hasn't he killed the Joker yet? Because yes, they do make references to the Joker in this movie, because as you saw in the trailers probably, you saw Jason Todd's Robin suit where, the joke's on you, he sent back Robin's. Why wouldn't he kill the Joker? We know that Jared Leto is going to be playing the Joker. Whenever he just beats the shit out of the Joker, if he doesn't have a problem killing all these minions, why won't he kill the Joker? Why won't he kill Scarecrow, Two-Face, Clayface? I don't know about the Court of Owls, if the Owls are going to be in this. I really hope they are, because that's one of my favorite Batman storylines ever, is the Court of Owls. But you have this character way too young to be killing. And I hated that fact. And you are more than welcome to disagree with me on that fact, but the Batman I grew up with had a moral compass, and that was he was one step away from being the Joker. The only thing that separated him from just going over was that he didn't kill people. They both had so much in common, and that's really what people loved about these two enemies for so long, is the fact that the Joker and Batman are psychologically damaged men. Just this one iota of difference in them, that one stands for good and that he won't kill, but he is willing to go to any other extreme to save people, where you have just one step over this character who is willing to kill just to show that you are so close to chaos and anarchy, you are almost me. And that's what I've always loved. So now you have a Batman who's already killing people. I don't see why he just doesn't kill the Joker, and then that threat is gone forever. If that's where you're going to take this character, which I really hope you don't, hopefully you give him a moral compass after this says, fine, I'm not going to kill anymore. Another spoiler, this is a huge, huge spoiler. We see Flashpoint Paradox kind of shit in this. We see the Flash come back in time and warn Bruce Wayne that Lois Lane is the key, and then Flash travels back in time to give him a warning. So that's definitely, moving forward, Justice League style, something that you need to keep your eye on. And moving forward with that, Justice League cameos. Something that I thought should have been way more at the forefront of this, because you can't just move straight into the Justice League with literally a minute and a half of showing you Jason Momoa Jason Momoa as Aquaman, or, seeing the Flash or Cyborg. They show Cyborg, just like the torso and the head pretty much, and then his father trying to bring him back to life. And then you see the Flash, Ezra Miller, while he's shopping for like milk. And this is all like a footage, because Lex Luthor has been tracking all the metahumans, and he's compiled these 4 that he's been watching and he's had surveillance on. He's had Aquaman, the Flash, Cyborg, and Wonder Woman. And then Batman breaks into his computer, notices all these, and this is a 2-minute scene where you see Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, the Flash, not in that order, but it's 2 minutes, you see them all, and it's like back to the movie. You're like, wait, what the fuck? You need more depth, you need to know more about these characters moving forward, and I think they really spoiled that. So let's go on now to Doomsday. Hated the way they did Doomsday. I don't like the fact that Doomsday was a General Zod Kryptonian Lex Luthor blend. That pissed me off so much, because Doomsday, one of the most iconic Superman villains, the death of Superman, stuff like that. Those are great comics. You blew your Doomsday load way too soon, in my opinion. So, I think they could have done a lot better. Although I do think Wonder Woman Doomsday fight was fucking fantastic. That was such a good fight. I loved every bit of that part of it. I just don't like the fact that that's the way they introduced Doomsday, and I don't like the way that he looked like a cave troll from Lord of the Rings. Now, for the biggest spoiler of the entire film, the death of Superman. I don't like the way Superman died either. He's not dead, because very obviously at the very, very, very end, there is no post-credit scene from what I gather, but you see the dirt slowly starting to raise off of Superman's Clark Kent's grave. So for as many amazing things as are in this movie, there's a couple more that are wrong. So that's why I'm going to stick with the rating that I gave the film. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. Keep in mind, everybody should go and see this movie. Everybody should go and see this movie. It's not phenomenal. It's not fantastic. It's a fun movie. It's okay. So thank you to everybody for watching. If you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button down there. And if you check up in the top right corner, you're going to see a little card icon. That'll take you over to the Flick Freak store. We have t-shirts, coffee mugs, phone, tablet cases, all the great paraphernalia you could ever ask for. And then, of course, the Patreon campaign. Every dollar put in there gets put directly back into this channel to make it better, because we're all going to make this channel better together. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, thank you for watching, and Godspeed to 100,000 subscribers.
Great, because a former decorated member of the United States Marine Corps needs your support.
And his name is John C. Are you kidding me right now?